My name is Gerry Cantwell. I worked at Cape Spear and I lived at Cape Spear, and that is the only station that I've ever worked on. Well, Cape Spear started underneath the Cantwells in 1846. It was the first one who went there. And up until 1997, there was a Cantwell there. I happened to be the last one uh, to man the light station at Cape Spear. Well, the Cantwells sort of started in a weird sort of way as a lightkeeper. Uh, in 1835, uh, the Prince of the Netherlands came over here on a visit, and he got lost in the fog out off Cape Spear. Even though it was nice in St. John's, uh, the fog out of Cape Spear is quite thick, and it goes right up to the harbour mouth, and then inside of that, in the city itself, it's clear. The prince was so delighted that and how somebody could find the harbour in this type of fog, and he was quite pleasantly surprised with that, even though these guys were harbour pilots, and that they knew where the harbour was too. And if you look at St. John's Harbour from the sea, it hidden away. You can go past it and not see it. His request was to work at Cape Spear when it became available. There was another chap working there for 10 years before 46. And anyway, in the year 1846, he, 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 the job became available, and because Buddy was there by himself, and they needed another lightkeeper there. So in 1846, he got the job at Cape Spear. That went on what it seems like forever now, 151 years. And each Cantwell took their term running, working at the Cape. Well, living at a light station is something that you do because it's your home. It's the only home that we ever knew. First, when we were all born, we went to the old lighthouse, which is by far not exactly what they're called the Ritz. There was no washroom, there was no water running, nothing of that nature was there. You carried it all in and you boiled the water that you needed. The thing is that we grew up not only in the old lighthouse, but also in the new dwelling that they built after 1949. They never built our house until we moved in 52. And to go from the old lighthouse to the new lighthouse was like going from a paper shack to the Ritz-Carlton. And that was the difference. You had central heating, you had running water, you had a washroom, and you had heat constantly in the whole house because of wood fire furnace in the basement. And it was like, you soon forgot what it was like living in the old lighthouse. when you had this sort of being as such. And that was my home, and for my whole lifetime, including today, I still think of it as my home.